Hey everybody, welcome to Cara's Cucina. I'm Cara Falco. We are making the perfect holiday dinner dish. I'm going to show you guys how to make Ossobuco, which is a delicious Italian dish with bone shanks. Ossobuco in Italian literally means bone whole, and so the cut that you're using is shank. Today I'm using beef shanks. More often people do this with veal and then pork. The store had beef shanks, so we're gonna use beef shanks and it's fine. But you can see you get this cross section of the meat, so you have that whole bone in there. You're gonna get that bone marrow cooked down. It becomes part of the gravy. It all becomes really delicious. So we're gonna do these on a slow braise to cook them. So to start our dish, we're gonna just make a really basic mirepoix, so onion, celery, carrots, all the good things. We're gonna chop it up real fine and then we'll get cooking. So ossobuco is one of those really rich, hearty, kind of stick to your rib dishes. It's perfect for the winter time. It's also become really famous and again considered very expensive here. I think anything with meat at this point is expensive. So, but it makes a really just great holiday dinner because it's such a showstopper. That you know, bone-in shank cut of meat, whether you do beef or veal or pork. It's just really beautiful when you serve it up. Celery, carrots, onion, kind of the granddaddy of all cooking, really. Base for just about everything and anything. To cook our dish, you want to use a heavy bottomed oven safe pan. So this is enameled cast iron that I'm using, and it's got to have a good fitting lid. And this is because we're going to go from stovetop to oven and we don't want to have to transfer everything. So I'm going to get this over medium high heat because once we get these ossobuco seasoned, we're going to sear them. For our meat, we are gonna season everything generously with salt and pepper on both sides. And again, the generous salt, if your eyes are kind of bugging out of your head a little bit, it's gotta get all the way through all this meat, into that bone, all the way down. So we really just wanna make sure that our food is seasoned well. And truthfully, if you're cooking at home, you're highly, highly unlikely to use more salt than they would in a restaurant, so you're still better off. We're gonna get a little olive oil into our pot, dredge our ossobuco into that flour, and then get them in the pan to sear. You wanna sear them on all sides, about 3 to 4 minutes per side. I feel like it's always important to sear meat that you're gonna braise because otherwise it just gets like chewy and rubbery. But when it's seared, you seal in that flavor, the juices, and then it just gets nice and tender and fall off the bone, which is what we're looking for. Once your meat is seared on all sides, we're gonna remove it and put it on a plate. Into the same pan goes all of our veggies, and then we're gonna add our red wine to deglaze and scrape up all those nice browned bits in the bottom of the pan. So you deglaze the pot to get any of the little pieces of meat and brown bits up from the pot. It just helps add to the flavor of the sauce. Little pinch of salt to your veggies. And now our meat's going back in. Last ingredient is gonna be some crushed tomato. Now when we braise, we wanna have enough liquid in that nothing gets dry, but we don't wanna completely cover it in liquid. So you wanna go about half to 3/4 of the way up the cut of meat. So again, depending on how thick the butcher cuts it, that's where you want this. So I'm not gonna give you an exact measurement because you wanna use your eye and just go again, about halfway up the piece of meat. Once we've got all of our liquids in, lid on, make sure you've got a nice good fitting lid. And this is gonna go in a 350-degree oven for at least an hour and a half, up to 2 hours. After about an hour and a half, just check your meat. It should be super fork tender, almost ready to fall off the bone, as you can see. And that sauce, oh man, that over pasta or polenta, this is the perfect winter dish. Look at the presentation. Just with the ossobuco, with the bone in the middle. If you can get in there, get that bone marrow. That used to be my nanny's favorite part. The woman could kill a bone. She would get to that marrow come hell or high water. But that is it for our ossobuco recipe. So again, you can get the full recipe at caradefalco.com. Make sure you hit that subscribe button if you're new to the channel. We're so happy to have you here. Hit the bell icon as well. You'll always know when the next recipe is on deck. And you can follow me on Facebook and Instagram at Cara Defalco. That is it for this week. Buon appetito.